secret files of Teletraan 2.
Hello everyone and welcome to the files of Teletraan 2. Why do I always forget the name of this thing? I almost said something different there. It's only been 4 years. Guys, we are doing comics again, and this month we are doing for us it's kind of a revisit of an old favorite, which is we are doing Taskmaster, the 2010 book by Fred Van Lent, is it his name was? Van Lent, which was a 4-issue miniseries that gave a new origin story and explanation of the character Taskmaster, which has, as far as I know, been largely ignored. And for Patreon, we are finishing a book.
Oh my god. We
are doing the last volume of Fear Agent. Which, it's been a while. So, Taskmaster, we will get straight into it. Andy.
Yes, me. Hello.
Hello. This is going to be a quick overview because there's quite a lot to unpack with this book, and I don't feel like going for a play-by-play. Basic story of the book: Taskmaster is in a restaurant, kind of explaining how his powers work, and he gets attacked by literally everyone.
By everyone, you mean the grunts, the grunts of Marvel.
Single minion you can think of, and probably a few you can't.
I'll be honest, when I read this for the first time, I had no idea who any of these people were, apart from obviously Hydra and AIM. When it went into the more obscure ones, I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Who?
As far as I know, most if not all of these are pre-existing. I remember I didn't Google it this time around, but I did Google it originally. It also plays on the idea Taskmaster is meeting with a grunt who's really respects him and saying we're all hired to kill you, but I want I wanted you to let you know I respect you and I respect everything you did for me, because Taskmaster turns out trains every single grunt. And there's a really sad bit where Taskmaster says he doesn't remember someone, which is a big deal. Anyway, huge fight breaks out. The waitress at the restaurant gets caught up in it. Just chaos, madness and chaos, and the waitress and Taskmaster gets sucked up in Taskmaster's attempt to find out who hired everyone to try and kill him. He ends up traveling across several places, most notably going to, I believe, was it Mexico or was it just Central America? I think it was Central America.
Either Central America or Puerto Rico. I'm not sure which. Or was the Don from Puerto Rico? No, she's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, she's
Mercedes is Puerto Rican.
Yeah. But he meets the single most important villain in Marvel's history.
Yes.
The Dawn of the Dead.
Someone who you could totally have in a TV series.
Yes.
Easily.
How is he not in a Marvel show at this stage?
How is he not in more things?
Yeah.
Just generally.
This then leads them into a village of Hitlers.
Mm-hmm.
And brings them into conflict with their ultimate enemy, Red Shirt.
Mm-hmm.
The ultimate minion. Who doesn't get the joke.
No.
Does not get the joke. By the way, Village of Hitlers is very literal.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And also, it's the Red Shirt is the leader of the Minions International Liberation Front, or MILF, as one of his underlings is quick to point out. Eventually, it turns out Red Shirt is just some sort of super soldier type and really good warrior. We also find out that the waitress that he end up accidentally kidnapping isn't actually a waitress. She is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. And we find out so is Taskmaster, and he always has been. We'll go into it later on, but basically at one point or another involving Hitler's brain, he ended up absorbing a super serum that gave him perfect implicit memory. So he can replicate anything he sees on a skill-based level that is also eating his explicit memory, meaning he doesn't have any memories. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know his own name. His name is Tony Masters because it's Marvel. He doesn't know his own wife, who it turns out is the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent assigned to him, who is also disguised as a waitress. And, he eventually, in a conflict with Red Shirt, starts to get his memories back. But because he can't beat Red Shirt without using someone else's abilities, he basically, I think he uses basically everyone's. I think it was.
That's not what makes him his memory erased, so he has to copy Red Shirt's. That's what makes him lose his memory.
He had to copy a new skill set. That was it. That was it. I read this a few days ago. And that basically reset him back to zero, and we end the book in a really tragic way of his handler calling him with his latest mission. And that's how the book wraps up, really. It is jam-packed, for want of a better term. Do you think it's jam-packed, Andy?
That's a lot of stuff. A lot happens from issue to issue. I mean, you go from new place to new place. You start off in America. You go to, like you said before, Central America or specific points somewhere. Then you go to the Andes for the Hitler Village, and then are you still in the? No, you stay in the Hitler Village until the end.
Yeah,
but you move from like the outside to an inside location, and then then it ends. It's very much an in and out, and it's a nice self-contained story which adds to Taskmaster without messing him around too much. Like it doesn't feel like, it feels like if you didn't like the idea of this, if you hated the idea that Taskmaster was actually a good guy who's lost his memory, you could just ignore the story, and it doesn't, as far as I know, it never really affected Taskmaster in the future. But if you wanted to, you could add this to your little mind palace. See what I did of him, and it expands the character a bit more than he's just a mean man who can learn skills quickly.
Yeah,
because I didn't know much about Taskmaster before this. Did you? Was he anything before this?
I mean, I'd seen him in a few random books. I know he was bigger in Deadpool, like he was a major supporting character in a popular Deadpool run at the time. Which I have read some of, but not a lot. But he was just like a mildly cool-looking B-C-list villain.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I don't think that's unfair to say.
And like I always liked his design.
I mean, he's got a skull face, and he's got some really good color placement. Yeah, hell yeah, he's good.
This made me fall in love with the character. And I have a lot of problems with Marvel, especially how they handle their event books, and especially how they handle their character consistency.
Yeah. That's comics, though, isn't it?
I think Marvel more than any.
Really?
Because I think DC, they'll pull their reboot shit and basically say we're starting from scratch. Marvel is telling you this is the same guy and has been since their entire run.
Oh, yeah, with like Nick Fury going from... Let's be blunt about it. White Nick Fury to Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury, and he was just always when they made the switch, did they just
no he was his son. They basically like old Nick Fury ended up replacing the Watcher, and then
that's
Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury. But I think Watcher Nick Fury came back and replaced Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury.
What?
Because
so confusing.
Ultimate got the permission off Samuel L. Jackson to base it off of him, and that's
right.
That's one of the reasons he got hired for Avengers. But it was weird. They were trying to market base because Marvel, I think, more than DC is concerned with the marketing.
I can see that, especially now.
Yeah, and especially when it was like every time a movie came out, that everyone's suits would change.
Yeah. You mean in the comics?
In the comics, yeah.
Yeah, to match the movie. Yeah. Marvel was 100% way into that shit, which I don't know about other comic readers, but that's kind of when I started really pulling away from Marvel because it just became the movie stuff, and I get why it's marketing, but it's something that I didn't like. I like the characters looking like the comic book characters rather than looking like the movie characters. And
also the narrative. What would the story be? Well, it would be an adaptation of whatever the movie's based on.
Yeah, and it's like, no, but that they need to be different. And I don't know, I understand from a certain point of view, but you're not going to get people coming in from the movies wanting to read the movie adaptation of the comics. Oh, sorry, the movie adaptation into a comic is probably
yeah.
It.
Like DC has done it. Like when the CW was at its height, they reinvented Oliver Queen to basically be the TV one for a while and brought in the TV sidecast.
Ooh.
I was just more shocked when it turned out Miles Morales has only been around for 10 years.
Only? Really?
Yeah. I thought Miles was like 15, 20 years at this stage.
Yeah, I thought I remember he came in during the Ultimates time, but was it the Ultimates universe?
And remember the Ultimates started in 2000.
Yeah, wow. Okay. But now he's in the normal universe, isn't he?
Yes, but I think they've recently reintroduced the Ultimate Universe as like it exists. Because they tried to wipe out all their like side universes because it was too packed.
No, it wasn't. It was fine. It's just Elseworld stuff, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, in the Secret Wars. That was it. In the second Secret Wars, which turned out to basically just be Doom, if I remember. Or was it Doom World?
Doom World, I think.
Yeah. Which also had Steve Rogers team up with Devil Dinosaur to fight a planet of Hulks.
Well, they lost, right?
No, they won. They actually beat the semi-evil Hulk that was on that planet, who was
Maestro?
actually... no, it wasn't. It was Doc Green, who was the really edgy reinvention of the Hulk that they brought in around that time.
Oh, how the hell does Steve Rogers and Devil Dinosaur beat a planet full of Hulks?
The art was good. Also, like Steve...
Okay, that wasn't an answer.
But like it was like Steve Rogers, who was kind of talking like he was talking a lot like Thor.
Yeah, okay.
It was weird. It was a weird book. Kind of fun, if I'm honest, but it was a weird book.
Right.
Anyway, basically, Marvel was pulling a lot of shit at this time. So, like, the fact they've never revisited this character arc, bar a very, like, the fact that a character in Avengers Academy, if I remember right, was hinted to be his daughter.
Oh, really? Okay.
But, because she had similar powers and she was afraid of her like, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to lose my memory or something like that? But so they've never done anything with this just fantastic idea.
Didn't this get a sequel, or like the same writer was able to do another series for Taskmaster within the last 2 years, right?
There has been a new Taskmaster book.
Yeah, I think it was the same writer, you know.
I'm not sure. I'll have a look. But if he did, I will check that the fuck out.
You can pat me on the bottom because I'm pretty sure I'm right.
But yeah, so oh, just found Taskmaster the TV series.
Oh no, it's on Dave, isn't it?
Yep.
It's not very funny.
Taskmaster's in Black Widow, which is getting reviews.
I saw.
I don't know.
I don't believe anything I hear.
I don't know. No, I have no. I saw one review which is like, oh, it was a decent movie except for that last third. Also, why does it exist? Which is not a very good breakdown. So yeah. So for the breakdown of like what few of the things that made this book unique, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's got real good punchy jokes to it.
Also, that the 2020 Taskmaster was written by Jed McKay.
Yeah, there you go. Is that a different person or the same person?
Yes, different person.
Okay, same person. Yay. Pat me on the bottom. I was right.
No, I didn't say it was if it's a different writer, Andy.
Oh, it's a different writer. Okay. Does that mean I have to pat you on the bottom now?
I think you have to pat yourself on the bottom.
I do that anyway.
Feel like none of us needed to know that. But so it was really funny because it's completely out there.
Yes.
It's like every minion you can think of, the Dawn of the Dead, the red shirt, again, a village of Hitlers. Of all ages. Many Hitlers.
All sizes too. Fat, skinny, tall, old, all of them.
Yep, because basically Hitler's brain leaked into the water supply and infected an Andes village.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, now, you might have heard Mikey say that and sat there and said, what? But that like Mikey said word for word exactly what happened. I don't think it needs explaining. I don't think it really could be explained.
No. But what really got me was like this is an incredibly heartfelt book.
It is. It's surprising.
Like how Taskmaster's powers work, like just to sum it up, is he has perfect explicit memory. Every language, he can ride a bike till at the end of days, every fighting style, all those memories and skills you develop that do not exist in your conscious brain, he has a like perfect recall. Except like it overwrites his explicit memory. It overwrites his personality, the things he remembers, his wants, his desires, his family. He can't remember any of it because every new skill takes up that space in his brain.
Yeah, brain only has so much room.
Yeah.
It's like with a VHS tape, if anybody remembers them.
Yeah. And so what he does, like he's mastered, again, because it's an explicit skill, he's mastered the ability to seem like he remembers you.
Yeah, what was it called? Like chit chat. He's mastered the ability of like nothing chit chat, like talking about the weather or any of that inane shit that you hear people saying on the streets to each other.
Yeah, and like there's a great monologue where he's just saying like meeting a guy new, don't know who he is, but like completely knows exactly what to say to make it seem like this is one of my oldest friends. And the way he works is that he basically keeps finding himself in random parts of the world, usually near a phone, suspiciously enough, not knowing who he is, with his implicit memory telling him to dial a number, and it's the same number every time, and on the other end of the phone is the org. And the org gives him his instructions of what he's to do. And what's actually going on is that his wife, who's this S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, because he used to be one, is, as an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., giving him instructions on where he will most suit S.H.I.E.L.D.'s agenda.
Yeah, whatever that might be. And
remember, S.H.I.E.L.D. can be quite immoral, so lots of helping bad guys when needed.
Yeah, you help the bad guys, so it seems like, Taskmaster is a bad guy. That's why he'll train all the dudes. All the grunts get trained by Taskmaster. That's kind of his job. And then he can be hired to kill people who he'll actually try and kill because he doesn't know any better.
Yeah,
which is weird. It's a weird idea because like, what if he gets to kill Black Widow? I guess she'll just goes, well. Whoops.
But yeah, it's fundamentally tragic, and I think it does a really good job of making you invest in a character who, by his own words, doesn't exist.
No. He's a shadow, I guess. Something akin to that. It is quite a sad story in itself.
Oh, very much so. Like, for all the silliness and everything else.
Yeah, and that's why it's funny, because you get these good dialogue interact. I don't think it's that surprising when it turns out that he's his wife or related to him, just because of how well they interact with each other. And I think in like issue 2, she mentions something about him loving her. Like she says like a line specifically, which is like, "Oh, you know him. You specifically know him." But he doesn't pick up on that for whatever reason. And then he talks about loving her and all that kind of stuff. The emotion hits you. And like I say, it's a good way to add to this character who seemingly, as far as I know, had nothing to him, apart from being very cool. I like it a lot. It's a hell of fun. The artwork's good for it too. Very solid. I don't think there was many points where I was like, I don't like the artwork. I guess the only thing I specifically don't like about the artwork is how the artist drew Taskmaster's face, because it looks more like Scarecrow. Like it looks like a dude with a rag on his head that has its mouth stitched together rather than a skeletal face.
I'd agree with that.
It's not bad. It just like, if I put the two up to each other, two images, you say which one's Taskmaster, you probably wouldn't pick the one that's the from this comic specifically, I would say.
It's the weakest part of it, and which is really slightly annoying, because like the general face art in this book is really, really good.
Yes, yeah, the human people, definitely, 100%.
And there's a nice gritty style to the whole thing.
Yeah, it feels like I've seen this person's work before, but I haven't done, obviously, any research, but I must have seen their stuff, because it looks really familiar.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just a style of the time, or if I have seen their work specifically.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, to be honest.
I suppose you could say, like, if I was going to point out maybe an issue, you could say it's maybe a little bit contrived that just as he gets back his memory then has to be reset for him to win the battle. It's a very, like, obvious kind of writing ploy to kind of set him back up to go back to zero, but I guess that's also the point in the story. It's it's one of those things. It's kind of obvious, but I wouldn't say it's executed poorly because it's given that gravitas at the end of being sad.
Yeah, and it's like it's there to show, like, you show it at work, show it happening.
Yes.
It's not one of those things where it's setting out to surprise you. It's set up this character and what motivates him and everything else. And I would say, like, and here's the price he pays.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's just, there's so much to, like, we originally did like a 2-hour show on it, I think.
I think it's because the way that we used to review the show was we used to go by panel very slowly. Yeah. So that makes sense.
But it's I really, really recommend it to anyone who wants a really good read.
And the only real tie-ins to other Marvel stuff is the fact that they talk about Siege, which wasn't a terrible event. It wasn't a great, but there's barely any reference. The only other thing that might confuse you is, at this point, Steve Rogers isn't Captain America. He's basically just a super cop, which doesn't really mean anything. It's just he's not Captain America.
This is after he came back from the dead in Civil War, wasn't it?
I mean, Captain America comes back from the dead, and he shrugs and goes, "If you say so."
Because I think there was this weird period. He came back from the dead. He didn't take up the shield again. He then took the shield back off of Bucky. He then...
Oh, that's right.
Started aging really rapidly.
Yes, and then they did the Nazi aging thing, right?
Made him Captain America. Made him a Nazi.
That's right. Yeah. Which no one liked.
Which everyone hated.
Yeah, for good reason.
And then they've
didn't they backtrack on that and said he wasn't actually a Nazi?
Yeah, because they said, like, oh, actually, it was just Hydra, like, planted an idea in his head where he thought he was a Nazi.
I think that if he wanted to do that, there probably was a better way to implement that. Clearly, they didn't do the smart way of doing it, as everybody was fucking pissed at it.
Yeah, no one liked it, and they killed Rick Jones in it. Like, they had, like, Rick Jones getting a concentration camp execution.
The Hulk's Rick Jones.
Yeah, who you will be seeing in no short order, by the way.
Well, I mean, I've seen his dead corpse, so...
You haven't seen you haven't seen his deadest corpse.
Oh my god, he gets deader than dead?
He gets deader than dead.
Oh my god, super dead?
Like, only as dead as a man like him can get.
Oh my god, like Barry Allen dead?
Even Barry wasn't that dead.
Oh my god.
You'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I just really, really like this book.
Yeah.
I love the ideas. I think it's very intelligently done. I think it really gets its message across. And it's really funny as well, because it's really not... Like, the Dawn of the fucking Dead.
Yeah, that's fun. I think it's fun.
Yep. Who is... How do you describe the Dawn of the Dead?
A white dude pretending to be Puerto Rican.
Basically. While wearing a Cinco de Mayo mask.
Yes. And being in a mariachi band?
Yes. And having... like, this really weird, stereotypical, like, black, like, flowing cape and sombrero hat.
If you've ever played Grim Fandango, he looks like Manny Caravella from that game. If you don't know that, just type in Manny Caravella and Grim Fandango into Google. You'll see what it is.
He also
Apart from he's not in a suit, like Mikey said. He's in more of a mariachi band kind of look, or a no, it is mariachi band kind of look, isn't it? More than
he screams gringos.
He does scream gringos.
He tells everyone they are. You can, like, imagine the name, like, or like where they, like, murder some guys and what was it, like, these guys were in our band. What's wrong? No, I have lost my drummist or my guitarist. Which was it?
Wait, I can't remember which one he shot.
We killed Rodrigo. No, what's wrong? Rodrigo played the 1987 DG20 Casio electric guitar in my band. We recorded my Narco Corridos songs immortalizing my exploits. How can I maintain the love of the peasants without them?
Give me a YouTube video in 20 minutes. It's a great thing about like Taskmaster. He's useful. All you got to do, and YouTube's like his ultimate weapon, isn't it?
Yep.
How-to videos. He just watches a YouTube how-to video and he can just do it. Boom. Problem
like
sorted.
He laughs and goes, "You make me laugh in my belly." Then he's an incredibly white guy.
He's just a white guy, and it's actually interesting because he kind of lays down that this is what happens to at least some S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who go crazy, or who've done stuff, and he never really said what kind of other stuff he did. You know, I guess it suggests that Taskmaster has done some bad stuff as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that we just don't tap into as well, right? Surely.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, he's S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
And also that ends on that big fight scene with the Dawn of the Dead actually ends quite tragically, because like he knows something of Taskmaster's past, and it's just like he falls off the truck, and Taskmaster's just like sitting there. I wasn't done with, and he like looks so sad.
It's work. I think it works in two ways. It's both funny and sad depending on how you read it at the time. Because it's funny because I lost my only lead. I wasn't done with him. You know, like if you drop a pizza on the floor, I wasn't done with that. Or like you say, it's the tragic version where it's like, no, he was my only connection that I had. Shit. It's like, yeah, it's, you know, depending on how you read it, I think that's quite fun as well.
Yeah. Also, the Dawn of the Dead is the whitest guy. Like when you actually see him, like he looks like such a nerd.
He's Andy White.
Yeah, that's very white for anyone who hasn't seen Andy.
Thank you. You could have said, no, Andy, that's not true.
Alabaster.
I thought you were going to say Alabama White. Andy, he's Alabama White. You didn't know where to go from there, did you?
I've thought of several places and none of them are good.
No, Pecco.
But yeah, I'm happy enough leaving it there, unless you got something else to say.
No, I would put this in my, like, I can think of this and maybe another suggestion, which we could do maybe for next month, because I don't think we ever talked about this. Did we ever do the Books of Doom?
No, we didn't.
Have you ever read Books of Doom?
No.
Oh, that's a really good Doctor Doom story. I like that a lot. It's great. Do you like Doctor Doom?
I like Doctor Doom. Everyone likes Doctor Doom.
This the Books of Doom is basically his backstory for Doctor Doom.
Ah.
And it's him telling the story, so it's an unreliable narrator. So if you believe, I don't think he'd lie completely about it, but you can also take it from that aspect as well if you wanted to. But yeah, we could maybe do Books of Doom next time, because I put that in my. I think it's Ed Brubaker again that did that, and usually Ed Brubaker's work was. I would say Ed Brubaker was a pretty decent writer.
He wrote my
because I
favorite
really
Batman
liked
story.
his Captain America run up to a point.
He wrote my favorite Batman story.
Which did he do? Long Halloween?
No, he did Bruce Wayne Murderer.
Oh, I thought Long Halloween was your favorite.
No, I haven't read Long Halloween. You've read Long Halloween.
Oh my god!
Your
I
favorite.
You read Long Halloween. Oh my god!
It's your favorite.
I hope you. Yeah, we're gonna have to read that at some point, because I don't really want you watching the anime or the animated version for your first introduction to Long Halloween. That would just be depressing.
Review? I don't know. Reviews are out now, so bad. I don't know if
it's out.
Bad.
Oh
yeah.
No.
Like the reviews are out, and like I didn't pay attention, but I saw the scores and they were high-ish.
No, that doesn't mean anything, especially for your and my tastes.
Yeah, I still want to check out that Wonder Woman movie they did, because that was supposed to be actually like more in line with the original Wonder Woman movie.
Which one is that?
Wonder Woman Blood Fever or Bloodstone or something like that.
What's it about?
Wonder Woman and Blood. As far as I know, it's an original story, which fucking miracle.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Taskmaster. Also known as Taskmaster Unthinkable for trade.
Yes.
Well worth your time, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, give it a crack. Like we said, it doesn't require any back information. You can just jump right into it, as the internet likes to say usually.
In that case, it's been a bit of a shorter one, but we will wrap up the main show there. Beast Wars is finishing its first story arc next month, so we will probably sit down and do the review of that at some point soon. And Back to the Future finished. Back to the Future Transformers finished its run, so we will also probably do that at the Patreon show at some point.
It's a run.
Well, 4 issues. But 4 issues that took about 6 or 7 months to come out.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. COVID, I get it, but still, wow.
Yeah. COVID and IDW combining.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you want to hear our opinions on Fear Agent, the final volume of Fear Agent, sign up to our Patreon. Only $2 a month, and you get the extended comic show. You also get interviews and anything else extra, and you get the Moonbase Woo-Woo, which we mean to be monthly, but usually ends up being sort of monthly. We're just over the line.
Yeah.
I don't know where we are for this month.
I think we need to do one.
Oh no! And this month's over today.
We'll get to it. I think it's getting a little harder to do them on the basis that neither you nor I can do a huge amount at the moment, especially with COVID going on. But we keep trying. We keep trying.
We find topics we want to talk about.
Yes.
But yeah. No, we did one for this month, didn't we? We did VTubers.
Was that not last month? Because we were catching up on last month's.
I'm going to say it's this month, so that means we don't have to record 2 more shows in July.
Okay, that's fair. Let us know if we were wrong. I think we might be.
Shh. Don't.
Send Mikey hate mail.
And they already do.
Good. Alright, cool.
But yeah, and any interviews or anything else we do, they will be up there early as well. And plus any random shows that we do will also be available early whenever we do those. Andy.
Me. Hello.
Thank you, as always. You suggested this one, so thank you for giving me an excuse to reread one of my favorite books.
Yeah, I think Gruff said the last time we did it was like 2011 or something like that.
2014, I think he said.
Oh, he's 2014. Well, yeah, it was nearly 10 years at this point. So
back when he was productive.
Oh, damn. I think it was nice to go back to this, to be honest.
Yeah. Also, like, back when he was productive, I've had a child. Those aren't productive.
Yeah.
That's what you do when you're bored.
Oh my god.
That's literally what you do when you're bored.
Oh my god.
And these are the consequences you bear of being bored.
Jesus.
Otherwise,
send your hate mail to Mikey on the Moonbase 2 forums.
If you have children,
and
agree with
me.
So, guys, thank you very much for listening. We will talk to you soon. And if you're on Patreon, hang around because we are talking the wrap-up of Fear Agent.
You are now leaving Moonbase 2.